Hello, lovely people of the world, what's a gear to you, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In today's video, we'll be continuing on our trek to reach Divine Beast of Vah Rudania. But first, let's go into the shrine because it's gonna bother me if we don't, considering we ended the previous episode in front of the shrine. Stall to fly to Daqa Coast. Shrine! Oh man, I love this one! Ooh, I'm so excited about this one. This one is so cool. Okie dokie, so just gonna look around the area to make sure that I remember where everything is before we get started. I remember where everything is because I'm perfect. No, I'm not. So, what we want to do is we want to use the paraglider to go over here and land directly on top of this thingy. And then, once it goes flying again, we can go over here and collect our treasure chest. And that's everything that we need to do in this place, right? Right? Right. Ooh, silver ruby. Yay, that's exciting. Alright, so yeah, that is pretty much the idea of the shrine. So we're going over this way. So what we want to do is we're going to go back over here, and you may have noticed that this gate opens up whenever we go flying because of this electrical current and things like that. So what we want to do is when this goes flying into the air, you want to freeze it with stasis and then go on over here. And I missed. Oh well. And boy. That was a little too close for comfort. Let's try that again, hopefully this time without fail. And remember, even if you're very low in hearts like I am right now, don't use any eating items if you're this close to the end of a shrine. Your resourcefulness in overcoming the skip. Why do I even bother talking to you, Link? You're just gonna skip over all these cutscenes. I've always loved that shrine. It's just so much fun. Now, I'm pretty sure I've demonstrated this already, but something really cool and useful. Wow. Wow, just look at all that progress we've made. Okay, we're somewhere in the late 30s in terms of the episode number right now. We've already made this much progress, but we haven't even seen half the map yet, so... that's a good indication of just how massive this game is. So this right here, you may notice that there's a treasure chest next to the shrine name. That tells you that you've gotten every single treasure chest in the shrine. So that's something that's pretty cool. I'm making a point to point that out specifically because I remember my sisters, when they were playing this game, they didn't quite understand why some of the shrines had that treasure chest icon at the end of it, but some other ones didn't. So I felt like pointing that out because I'm nice. Yeah, someone please help me! He'll be fine on his own. Link, come help me! I can't handle this by myself! Alright, so these guys, we want to be careful because they have drill shafts, which are very, very powerful spears. Arguably, they are the most powerful in the entire game. That's probably not accurate, but that's just what I consider, because they're usually my go-to when it comes to spears in this game. They are very, very strong, so be very careful with them. The Guardian Sword is badly damaged, so we'll throw it at your face. I want to... what do I want to use? We'll use a Stone Smasher. This is a two-handed weapon, so it's going to be super duper powerful. And its strength is in the... We tricked him, that was funny. Let's get rid of you and do the super unnecessary epic flurry rush that's super difficult to pull off in Age of Calamity. Either that or I'm just bad at the timing because I haven't played the game as much as I would like. Age of Calamity is fun and all, but I gotta say, the thing about that game is that it's kind of hard going from the first Hyrule Wars, which had like a bunch of Zelda characters in it, and then you go into the sequel, which only has Breath of the Wild characters, which is great and all. Breath of the Wild definitely is big enough to have its own Dynasty Warriors-esque roster, but it's just a little bit of a weird step backwards in my personal opinion, but Age of Calamity is still a really great game. Wow! You're crazy strong, Goro. You saved me again! Okay, I know I'm gonna get hate for bringing up this character, but whenever I hear that phrase, you saved me again, I think of Jar Jar Binks from Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon saves him the second time, and he's like, you saved my again! Anyway, let's talk to you. Thanks for saving me, brother. I would have been in real trouble if you hadn't shown up when you did, Goro. Still no sign of the boss, eh? He's not coming. Huh? Not coming? But why? He's dead. After we went through all that trouble to get them, the painkillers didn't even end up working. Well, if boss can't help, there's nothing else we could do. I suppose I'll just head back now. Wait a minute! You're not going back? But why, Goro? I want to board Rudania. What? You're gonna try to board the Divine Beast? Who do you think you are, Lord Daruk? It's dangerous in there, Goro. Though I guess if you have weakened it first, it might be possible. Okay, before we go anything else, this is distracting me. This guy's fingernails, they're the size of Link's face. I just want to point that out. But why risk it? I don't really get it, but I'm sorry you have your reasons, Goro. The problem is, good old boss raised the bridge of Elden to make sure that mean Divine Beast couldn't get over here. In order to get to where Rudania is, we'll have to find a way to get to the bridge of Elden back down, Goro. Boss would normally use the cannon to lower it. We can't get across unless we figure something out. If boss can't come down here, then he can't use the cannon to lower the bridge. That means we're out of luck. Oh! It occurs to me that you know how to use the cannons, don't you, Goro? Maybe we can get across after all. So, let's just do what I do to help the boss sometimes. That means I'm gonna be the cannonball, and you'll launch me, Goro. Are you sure? I've got Daruk's protection, Goro. My ancestors' help can't possibly fail me. That means I can smash into anything and it won't hurt one bit, Goro. My ancestor Daruk was a big deal, Goro. That's what boss says, so it's just gotta be true. And I can use Daruk's protection just like Daruk could. That means there's no need to worry, Goro. So rest easy, got it? Well, go on then, take aim at the Bridge of Elden and fire away. Just, you know, be kind of gentle about it. Before we do that, I need to eat stuff because I am dangerously low on hearts. Now, we probably could go back into town to rest at an inn or something like that, but that requires effort, and effort is gross. I really do not have a lot of food, do I? Unibo, get away from my food. Get away from my food. Unibo, get away from my food. Why are you standing in my food? Go away. Oh my goodness, that's just plain rude. Well, thankfully, none of it got ruined or anything like that. Now, there is another reason why I wanted to wait a moment before we actually did that, and that's what happens if you try to get close to Death Mountain while Vah Rudania is still over there and the Bridge of Elden is still up. So, to do that, I need to go over here, and we're going to quickly fast forward. I guess Nobo's not gonna let us do this. I give up. Oh, I get it. When you're ready, please just come back here. Oh, that's pretty cool. It is pretty nice that they gave you that option, so if, like, you're low on things that can give you hearts and things like that, you can go back into town to get more potions or all that good stuff. It really drives me crazy when games have like a point of no return for certain side quests, and they give you no indication whatsoever about that. That basically sums up Epic Mickey the Power of 2 in a nutshell, because that game does not tell you anything about side quests. So we look over there, and it looks like we should be able to paraglide over there, right? And the same thing applies to any of these other rock peaks as well. So if we try to fly over there, there is a very powerful wind current, and as far as I know, there's no way around this. Now, you could try to do that one fancy trick I like doing where I blow myself up to go super fast, but even then, the wind current is still really strong. I've tried this before, it's just not going to work. So, unfortunately, there's really no way we can reach Vah Rudania right now, so we can't really do anything about that until we talk to you. So go back inside the canyon, you little punk. He kind of rolls around like Sonic the Hedgehog when he goes into the cannon. That was not the right bomb or button that I wanted to use. So anyway, might be a good idea to actually aim at the bridge. We did it! See that, Goro? If we put our heads together, anything is possible. That power I got from my ancestor, the Rick's projection, it really is something else, isn't it? Anyhow, I guess my time as a cannonball isn't over yet, Goro. So let's get a move on across that bridge, brother. Alrighty then, so this is basically going to be the equivalent of when we were going to Vah Rudania and Sidon was helping us get in there. Now, this is something I absolutely love about Breath of the Wild. Going into the Divine Beast is different for every single one of them. So even though we do have a partner character to help us get inside the Divine Beast, the act of actually getting inside of it is different for each and every single one of them, and it's just really, really cool. Oh, yikes. A sanctuary is always a nuisance, no matter where it is or how many of them are there. If one finds you, Rudania will go nuts, which would cause Death Mountain to erupt. I always get spotted, and then magma bombs come raining down one after another. If Boss were here, he'd swat those magma bombs away like they were nothing and force his way up. I don't think we'd be able to do that, Goro, and I don't want to cause you any trouble. Maybe the Divine Beast is for you to give me a signal to let me know when I should stop and when I can move forward. Let's hurry and decide what the signal will be. Got any ideas? Mind powers! Mind powers? Wow! You mean like real-life telepathy? I didn't even know you Hylians could do that sort of thing these days. Are you transmitting it, Goro? What the? I'm not receiving anything over here. I love his expression right there. A wink. A wink? Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to see that far from way off in the distance, Goro. Try to think of something better. Mind power! Wait, what did you just say? I think your telepathic signals may be crossed or malfunctioning. Do you say anything else if I say wink again? I'm telling you, I won't be able to see a wink from that far away. I love this so much. Alright, fine, a whistle. A whistle? Oh, that's a good idea, Goro. When I hear your whistle, I'll either stop in my tracks or start moving forward. I like it. Even though it's kind of like calling a horse, Goro. Okay then, I'm counting on you and your whistles to make sure I'm not spotted by those awful sentries. That line right there... I probably should go get another piece of armor for fireproof stuff. How many fire elixirs do we have? We have 4 of these things. Why not? Bring it on. So that line right there where Unibo mentions how the whistling is similar to calling a horse, I gotta say, I am so thankful for that line because, to be completely honest, at this point in the game, I forgot that I had a horse. Like, I got one shortly after getting off the Great Plateau, and I did use it for a while, but I kind of felt a little annoyed about it at first because it just kind of seemed like it was very limiting and things like that. So, like, for example, oh, darn. Oh, now you get to see what happens when we get spotted. So, you can go over here. We're safe under this thing, so we don't have to worry about this. I'll probably keep you right here. His expression when he's standing still. So, yeah, I kind of stopped using my horse after a while because it was like impossible to use on mountains and things like that, and I didn't quite understand. I didn't quite understand that you can use the ZL thing to slowly work your way up a mountain, things like that. So I didn't really use the horse for a while on my first playthrough. Of course, after I wrapped my head around that idea, then yeah, it made a lot more sense and things like that. So I'm really glad that Unibo mentioned that you could use the whistle, because honestly, I forgot that ability even existed. And I know that was a bit of a roundabout way to bring up that story, but I'm not the best at telling stories and things like that. Which is kind of bad considering the fact that I wrote a book. So we want to go over this way. And as we continue on over here, I would like to talk about the Divine Beast itself. So this was not the first Divine Beast that I came across on my first playthrough of the game. It wasn't even my second one. This was my third one on my first playthrough. So by then, I'd already seen what the Divine Beasts were like, and I kind of got into the groove of the story beats and the patterns of what it's like to go into the Divine Beasts and things like that. But I gotta say, the actual Divine Beasts themselves were a really cool mystery for a lot of people to discover when this game was brand new. Because even though we've seen them in the trailers and things like that, there were still a lot of things we didn't know about them. So it was really cool when the game first came out, and just seeing all the cool stuff and watching everybody online kind of discover these Divine Beasts on their own, and kind of discover them together and things like that. That alone and together are two completely different things, but you basically get the idea. It was really cool discovering what the Divine Beasts were like with people online, and that's one memory of Breath of the Wild that I'm always going to cherish. So this right here, we can move this boulder on top of this Guardian, so we can destroy that. Most of the Guardians that will be in our path, they will have some way we can destroy them, so that's pretty nice. But I cannot stress this enough, get a picture of one of these. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to get 100%, or if you want to complete a side quest a little bit later, get a picture now. So, how about we actually do that? Can we do that from here? Oh, we can. That's pretty cool. So, now we have a picture of a century, and that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to save a video clip of that so that I can use it in a future video. Yay! Ain't that exciting? Where's he gonna go? Oh, you're over here. Okay. We did it, Goro. If we keep this up, we should be able to corner Rudania. And one thing that I notice whenever I talk about this game to friends and things like that, a lot of people seem to consider this one to be like one of the lesser fun divine beasts to get into, simply because it's an escort mission to get Unibo up there. Now, I can understand that, and escort missions can certainly suck if they're not done well, but honestly, I really like how they do this one, because you're always in control of when Unibo's going to be following you around and things like that, and the AI is actually really intelligent, so Unibo is smart enough to actually stay on the platforms and things like that, and chances are, if you ran into something dangerous, then chances are it's probably your fault anyway. So yeah, I'm personally pretty happy with this one. Now, it is an escort mission, so it's definitely not gonna be one of the most fun things in the world, and I could definitely say without a doubt that this definitely isn't my favorite divine beast to get into, but it's not my least favorite one. We'll get to that soon enough. Actually, I don't know why I said it in that tone, because I don't really hate getting into any of the divine beasts. They're all pretty fun. It's just that there's this one that, let's just say, took me a little while to figure out on my first playthrough. Alright, so now we can go over here, we'll call Unibo over towards us, and he can't hear us because we're too far away. Alright, get back over here. Move it. Move it. Move it. Move it. Move it. Why can't you just roll around? You'd be a lot faster if you did that. Haven't you ever played Majora's Mask? Alrighty then, so now we go over this way. And that's one other thing that I do like about this, is that the idea of having different races from Hyrule helping you out getting these divine beasts, it reminds me a lot of how Majora's Mask works with, I need another potion thing. That's not the right button. It reminds me a lot of how Majora's Mask works, how you can transform into different creatures across Hyrule, like Zoras and Gorons and things like that. It's the same case here as well, because even though you're not directly controlling these characters, it's kind of the same basic principle, where you're getting a lot of help from the different people of Hyrule, and it's just really cool. I really like this idea. Now, if there's one thing that I wish we could have changed about this, I really wish we could have played as these characters. Like, I would have loved to have been able to play as Sidon or Unibo or any of the other partners that we'll be seeing across our journey and things like that. So, yeah, that's just one thing that I kind of wish that they did with this game. So, now that we've taken care of all of that, next up we want to go over here. I always get turned around at this point because I always think the path continues onwards in that direction, but it doesn't. So yeah, we need to go up here. And now we have some more of these jerks. Hey! You're not allowed to attack me, I'm only allowed to attack you. It's only fair. Alright, let's destroy you. And, you know, let's do the spinning attack. Spinny! Spinny! Yay, Spinny! So I never really used the two-handed weapons that often before starting this Let's Play, but I gotta say, I'm really loving two-handed weapons because, like I never really knew how useful that spinning trick was on really tough enemies and things like that. We did it! Direct hit, Goro! And thanks to Daruk's protection, that didn't hurt me one bit. My ancestor came through for me. If we keep weakening it like this, we should be able to get inside. Don't let up, brother. Now, another thing that I absolutely love about this area we get to go very high on one of the tallest mountains in the game, which means we get an absolutely gorgeous view. Like, we can see, I believe that's Terrytown way off in the distance over there. We can even see Vah Rudania way over there. And, oh man, I love the view up here. Even if you don't care that much for escort missions, it's definitely worth it to play through this one just for the views alone. This area is just absolutely gorgeous. We'll throw the bum up there, and woo! That's always one of the most satisfying ways to destroy those guardians. Also, I love how it looks when the random materials are just floating in the air because of the wind current. Wind geyser, whatever terminology you want to use. It's just always really fun to look at. As we go across this area, I'd like to remind you that there is a side quest in the Elden region that will give you free fireproof armor. The unfortunate thing about this, though, is that this side quest requires you to collect 10 fireproof lizards, which, if you don't get them from shops, and I believe there's only one shop in the game that has them for sale, if you find them in the overworld, the amount of time that it takes you to go across that, and the amount of fireproof elixirs you're going to need to use if you already don't have the fireproof armor, you might as well just buy from the shop anyway. But I still recommend trying to find those lizards, because you might have better luck of finding them than I do. I would definitely will be demonstrating some tricks to catch those lizards in the episode where we take care of that side quest, but I felt the need to bring it up again because something happens a little bit later that is pretty interesting. And also, the rest of this video is being done in post-commentary because I didn't realize while recording, but my baby niece was getting very vocal about her opinions on the world at this point in the video recording session. I didn't realize this during recording, so I figured it's probably a good idea to just re-record the last part of this video anyway. It's not that big of a deal, it's just only the commentary that I had to redo. And if it was the gameplay that I had to redo, then that would be a lot trickier. But thankfully we haven't run into an issue like that yet. So like I said earlier in the video, it is a very good idea to get a picture for these guardians for your Hyrule Compendium right now, because it's going to be hard to come across these guardians if you don't take the picture now. I believe there's a few around the Akala Tower, but the ones here will disappear a little bit later if you don't get these pictures now, so you definitely want to be careful. And not just for the Hyrule Compendium, but there's also a side quest that will require you to have a picture of these things, so it is a good idea to have the picture now. And after we defeat all those Guardian Skywatchers, or whatever they're supposed to be called, we'll go over here and there's going to be one more camp of moblins. And also, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm saying this a lot during the post-commentary segment, like I said earlier, it is a good idea to have some pretty good weapons. Go figure. But my personal favorite to use is the drill shaft, even though I'm not actually using that right now during the gameplay. And now I paid the price for it. Yeah, my personal favorite weapon of choice here would probably be the drill shaft, because it's just a very good spear in general. Now, it's probably built more for things like the ore deposits. It's kind of like a mix of the sledgehammer and a spear, but it is very good for combat. That's probably not the best spear in the world when you have things like the ceremonial trident or things like that, but the drill shaft is also a pretty good weapon that you can't go wrong with. Alright, so we'll take care of you, and then there's only one more moblin left. That right there is probably one of the most morbid ways that we've faded to black during this series so far, because Link didn't even fully fall into the lava right there, so that's kind of morbid when you think about it. And it's also what's morbid when you think about it is the fact that we didn't bring out the fireproof elixir fast enough and then we died. That's quite unfortunate indeed. So yeah, it's a good idea to have some fireproof elixirs and actually use them on your journey up here. But now that we've taken care of all that, let's go after Vah Rudania.
so cool! You really put a licking on that thing, Link. It's time to finish the job. This is our big chance.